What if I told you Hyun gave up fame, money, and opportunities, all for the smile of the woman he loves? Welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the most heartwarming and untold stories of your favorite stars. Today, we're diving deep into the touching sacrifices Hyun has made for his wife, son Ye-jin, and their family, the choices that prove true love isn't just spoken, it's lived. From turning down big projects to fiercely protecting their privacy, this is the side of Hyun you've never seen before. If you love stories of real-life romance and devotion, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our next heartfelt feature. What would you give up if it meant the happiness of the person you love most in this world? For most of us, the question is hypothetical. But for Hyun, the answer has been written not in words, but in the quiet, powerful choices he's made since marrying son Ye-jin. Behind the red carpets, magazine covers, and blockbuster films lies a man whose greatest role isn't on screen. It's as a husband, a father, and the silent protector of the family he cherishes more than anything else. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the sacrifices Hyun has made, choices that prove that true love isn't about grand gestures, it's about the everyday decisions that say, I put you first. When the world fell in love with Hyun and son Ye-jin's undeniable chemistry in Crash Landing on You, fans dreamed of them as a couple. But no one could have predicted that the romance would leap from script to reality, culminating in one of the most celebrated weddings in Korean entertainment history. It seemed like a fairy tale, but every fairy tale has a side the cameras don't see. For Hyun, life after marriage wasn't just about continuing his successful career. It became about reshaping that career so that his wife and child could live a life filled with peace, security, and joy. And that came at a cost. Hyun has always been known as one of the hardest working actors in Korea. From grueling filming schedules that kept him away from home for months, to the physically demanding action roles that pushed him to the edge, his career was built on relentless dedication. But when he became a husband and then a father, everything changed. Insiders say that one of his first big sacrifices was time. Time that, in the entertainment world, can mean everything. He began turning down certain high-profile projects, not because he couldn't do them, but because they would take him too far from home for too long. In an industry where actors often chase every opportunity to stay relevant, Hyun instead chose to prioritize dinner at home, bedtime stories, and the simple joy of watching his child's first milestones. This was no small decision. The global success of Crash Landing on You had opened doors to international projects, endorsements, and collaborations that could have skyrocketed his earnings even higher. But Hyun quietly stepped back from some of them, choosing the warm glow of his living room over the bright lights of another set. But the sacrifices didn't stop there. Hyun has also been fiercely protective of his wife's privacy. Son Ye-jin, though beloved by millions, has always valued a quiet life. To ensure that she could enjoy that peace, Hyun made certain changes in his own lifestyle. He reduced public appearances that weren't essential, kept his private life strictly off social media, and even adapted his choices and projects so that they aligned with the kind of image that wouldn't invite unwanted intrusion into their family space. Friends close to the couple reveal that Hyun also took on a new role as a steady emotional anchor for Ye-jin, especially during her pregnancy and early motherhood. Parenthood can be overwhelming, even for the most glamorous of couples. Hyun stepped up in every way, from helping with late-night baby duties to managing parts of their home life so that Ye-jin could recover, rest, and enjoy motherhood without unnecessary stress. And perhaps the most beautiful part? He does all this quietly. There are no staged social media posts, no public declarations designed to earn applause. In fact, if you weren't paying attention, you might miss the way Hyun eyes soften whenever Ye-jin is mentioned in an interview, or how he subtly redirects conversations away from personal details that could intrude on their peace. This isn't about playing the perfect husband in public, it's about being the husband his wife needs in private. Financially, Hyun has also made thoughtful choices. While many stars invest in high-profile businesses or ventures that demand constant media attention, Hyun has been selective, choosing investments that allow him to spend more time with his family rather than being tied to high-pressure public obligations. Even his endorsements have shifted, focusing more on quality partnerships that allow flexibility in his schedule, rather than chasing every lucrative deal. To the outside world, it might look like Hyun is simply continuing his career at a steady pace. But to those who understand the entertainment industry, his path is actually a masterclass in prioritizing what truly matters. Every no he says to a job is a yes to his wife and child. Every moment he spends away from the spotlight is another moment where his son knows his father's embrace and his wife feels his unwavering presence. It's easy to assume that celebrity couples live in constant luxury and ease, but Hyunbin's story reminds us that love always requires choice. Even for someone at the very top of his career, there are sacrifices, not of money, but of moments, energy, and sometimes ambition itself. And here's the thing, Hyunbin doesn't see these as sacrifices at all. In interviews, he's hinted that becoming a husband and father has given his life a deeper meaning, one that no role, award, or paycheck could ever match. The smile he wears when talking about his family tells you everything. He's not giving anything up, he's gaining something priceless. If you ask me, that's the mark of a man who understands love. It's not about doing one big thing for someone. It's about showing up, again and again, in ways that the world might never see. And in this quiet, steady way, Hyunbin has written his most beautiful love story yet, one where his greatest achievement isn't a film, but a happy home. So the next time you see Hyunbin on screen, remember, behind every scene is a man who has already played the role of a lifetime as the husband and father who puts his family above all else. Because in the end, the real measure of a man isn't how brightly he shines in the spotlight, but how deeply he loves when no one's watching. And that's the beautiful truth behind Hyunbin's quiet sacrifices, the kind the world doesn't always see, but the people closest to him will never forget. It's in the projects he turned down so he could be home for dinner, the interviews where he spoke less about himself and more about protecting his wife's peace, and the everyday moments where he chooses love over. If this touched your heart as much as it did mine, let's keep this community growing. Tap that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you'll be the first to hear more untold love stories from your favorite stars. Thank you for spending this time with us, and until next time, keep believing in love that lasts.